Greetings to you viewers all over the world. This is God Voice TV channel. Welcome to the House of Ithiel, a spirit from God. On the 8th of August 2025, the man of God, Prophet Favor Ithiel, gave a prophetic word to the nation of Madagascar. Let us listen to what the prophet said and how the prophecy came to pass 2 months later after the prophecy
coming to pass. Madagascar, the wrath of God is coming upon that country because of the unclean spirit dominating men, polluting the nation, sexual morality, unfaithfulness in the government sector. So we should begin to pray.
Colonel Michael Rangiriananinya arrived at his swearing-in ceremony in Antananarivo as an officer of the armed forces. Just days ago, he led a coup against former President Ange Rajouel, who fled the country after weeks of anti-government protests.
The former regime who put us in this darkness used violence against protesters. Many young protesters have been arrested because they wanted to have their voices heard, and to keep order of the nation, the military had to take responsibility for the good of the people.
Proceedings at the High Constitutional Court were low-key, different to the splendor at previous inaugurations.
Michael Rangiriananinya arrived here as a military colonel and is now leaving as a president. Madagascar is one of the poorest countries in the world, but many here are happy with the promise of change. The new president, though, would have to consider reaction from abroad and the threat of sanctions following the coup.
The African Union, which has suspended Madagascar, says it will impose targeted sanctions against those involved in the coup if civilian rule is not restored. 3/4 of people here live in poverty. The country is heavily dependent on foreign assistance and has already lost about $200 million due to US aid cuts.
Sanctioning Madagascar is sanctioning the people, because the people are at the beginning of this movement. It's a movement started by youth, but then everyone participated to this movement. They wanted to fight against violence. They wanted democracy. They have values of good governance and transparency.
It is thanks to the youth that he got there right now, and I can say it proudly that it is thanks to our protest. So the minimum I'm expecting from him is to take into consideration our request and our fundamental rights.
Youth protesters in Madagascar are rejecting dialogue and doubling down on their demands. The protests began over power and water shortages, but have grown into a broader movement against poverty and corruption. The protesters accuse President Andry Rajoelina's government of repression after weeks of unrest that has claimed over 20 lives. The demonstrations have become the biggest challenge to Rajoelina since his re-election in 2023, in a country grappling with deep economic hardship.
Madagascar's youth are rising, and they're not backing down. They sing the national anthem, not in celebration, but in resistance. It's been 2 weeks of protests, and the movement is only growing.
We are here to claim our rights because in Madagascar we don't have the right to express ourselves. Whereas in other countries, as you can see, there are Gen Zers everywhere. They are not arrested. They protest peacefully, and we are trying to do the same.
And Madagascar's military says it is in control of the country after the president was impeached while in hiding. He fled the country when a powerful military unit joined anti-government protest. The demonstrations were sparked by high unemployment and corruption allegations. At least 22 people have died in the unrest.
Drama and celebration in Madagascar at the impeachment of President Ange Rajouel. Protesters in this northern town and across the country have been demanding his resignation for weeks. But they had a warning for his replacement.
It feels like we've just been released from prison. We know all the harm he has done. I'm truly relieved that Ange Rajoelina is no longer in power. This is also a message to his successor. Learn from this and don't make the same mistakes.
Let's now shift our attention to Madagascar, where turmoil continues as the military officers who seized power in the country in a protest crisis have said that their leader will be sworn in as the country's new president on Friday. This is the African Union has announced to suspend Madagascar with immediate effect. The decision comes after the army took charge of the country. Now, Madagascar's new military ruler is all set to be sworn in as the president, and he's dissolved all institutions except for the lower house of the parliament or the National Assembly.
Viewers, you can see how far the eyes of Jesus Christ can reach. Yes, even in our situations, this is to remind us that Jesus Christ sees it and he is concerned about it, to grant us solutions to our problems. Do not forget, this channel is all about Jesus Christ. Keep watching God Voice TV for the